I'm Suzanne McNeill with Design Originals, and today I'm going to show you one of my favorite things. There's so many options you can do with jelly printing and Zentangle, combining the two. So let me just start with the jelly printing, and let me show you, like here's a jelly print, and here it is embellished with Zentangle, jelly print, embellished with Zentangle. So lots of fun and a great way to add color to your tangles. So here are some things you can use. I just picked this leaf up out of the driveway. This I cut out of Tyvek, these original pieces. This is a stamp I bought at the store. Here's a stamp I made myself, 2 for 1. And here is a stencil just made out of scraps of cardstock or watercolor paper. So to get started, here's the jelly plate. And here's what it looks like. It's all squishy, sort of like gelatin, and that's what makes it print so well. So I'm just going to grab some acrylic paint. Got this at the craft store. And I like this because it's sort of a duller surface than some of the artist grade paints. And it doesn't have quite as much polymer, so it works really well with the jelly printing. To squeeze a little bit on my plate. I like to use more than one color at a time because it gives a nice artistic look. So it has a little bit of transparent look to the paint. I'm not trying to get it real smooth. I'm just trying to have it look good. So I'm going to take this stencil that I made myself out of scraps of paper. I'm just going to lay that right on the plate. Taking my little Zentangle paper tile, I'm going to lay that down where I want it and just press on that. And when I pull that up, it gives plenty of space for tangling out in the edges, and so it's like already having my strings established. And now I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to take another tile, and I'm going to make what's called a ghost print. This is a second print because there was still paint left on the plate. Often this print is not as dark, which is sort of nice for Zentangle, and it has a totally different look. So now I'm just going to spread my ink. There's still plenty of ink on the plate. I could add some more if I wanted to. And I'm going to take this leaf shape, just something I cut out of a piece of paper. Tyvek is the best. I'm going to lay my tile on top. Now this one is really great for Zentangle because all of the leaf area I can do my tangles in. I'm going to take that off, put it on the side, and maybe I'll put a little pink paint in here this time so you can see how much fun the jelly printing is. I sort of like the variation of color there. And I'm going to take this one, I'm going to take this stamp, the leaf stamp, squish it around good, and what that did is it picked paint up off of the jelly plate. And another tile, lay that right down. And now I could use both the stamp design and the colors to use for my tangles. So now I'm going to do a watercolor print. So I'm going to spray a little water on here. I'm going to take my brayer and go over that. And you can see how watery this is. I can place my tile on there and pick up this watercolor print. So now I would be able to use, wherever the color changes, I would be able to use it as a string to start on my tile. And one more print, because I really want a pink one. Haven't gotten that yet. Spread my color out. Maybe this little girl would be cute. One more tile. And there the little girl is. So I could keep doing this all day when I get ready to clean up. You might want to glance at some of these tiles that we did all over here. So you can see I have 6 in just a short amount of time. I'm going to move this out of the way so that we can start in on our tangles. So now I have a few, the way I clean my plate and my brayer is I like just baby wipes. Just almost any kind of baby wipe so I can clean my hands, my plate, my tile with those. You can put your plate in the sink and wash it off with water. So here's a few pieces I'd done before. Here's a little plastic lizard that I just laid on the jelly plate. Wouldn't that be fun to tangle all in those white spaces? Here's one I started. And you can see I was just using the pattern that was established by the cut paper to start my tangles in. Of course, it's not finished. I would continue that. Here's another piece, a little larger. So you can see on this one it created white spaces, and I'll be able to use those for my tangles. And here's a watercolor technique. So what I was doing with this was that every time the color changes, that becomes my string, the edge of my string or my section. I'll just follow that roughly. And now I'm going to add some tangles to this. So this process is described in Zentangle 11. You know, each of my books has 30 to 40 brand new tangles in it. And the one I think I want to use right now is this little force. It's on page 7. I'm going to go over to 7, and here's that little tangle. So I'm going to follow step 1 right here. These are little wavy lines, and then I'm doing another one that crosses under that, and then I'll do another one, a pair of wavy lines, and another one. When I get to the one that I'd already done, I go under. So another pair of wavy lines, and I'm just going to fill that entire space. And then I'm going to come and see how I'm going to fill in the background with black. So I would continue working on this entire piece. Oh, by the way, this happens to be done on printed on deli paper, delicatessen paper, like you get hamburgers wrapped in. And I like this for printing because it's really inexpensive, and it can be mounted on a piece of white paper or framed, or even just mounted onto a regular Zentangle tile. So you can see how much fun that is. I think you get the idea of that tangle. So now I'm going to take this one. So you saw on the deli paper. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to choose this tangle right here, link up, and it's on page 15. So I'm going to take this printed tile and change to a little smaller pen. So in this section, I'm going to draw a pair of parallel lines and another pair of parallel lines. I think I'm going to fill both of these spaces with this tangle. So now the second step is I do an arch, a pair of arches, and then from the other side I do another pair of arches that go underneath that one, or visually go underneath that. So let me show you again, a pair of arches, and then another pair of arches that go under that one. And repeat that same process. Now I'm going to skip over to the next row. I like to line these up with the previous row. So a pair of arches and then another pair of arches that cross over. I'm going to line this up. So a pair of arches, another pair of arches, And now I would fill that entire space with that. And now there's a little trick. If you look very closely, it looks like those are interlinked, even though I drew them just separately. So to interlink them, what I do is I color in this part of the arch. I'm going to skip that white area, color in this so it looks like one is going over the other. It's a little trick because I drew them normally, but once I color them in, they give the optical illusion that they're linked. Just continue doing this to fill the entire space. So you can see how much fun this would be if every leaf were filled with a different pattern. Well, here's another one. I added words to this one to make it even more meaningful. So the same piece, just done differently. So I hope you'll enjoy tangling today, and this book has all the samples for jelly printing with Zentangle in it.